Героям слава!
Слава нації!
Смерть ворога!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Your Soviet emblem CCCP. The C stands for Soviet, the P is an R actually because it's in Cyrillic alphabet, so that's Russia, I guess. Maybe him, Volodymyr the Great, and the other people, like, you know, like maybe this symbolizes the fact that he is Christianizing other people in the Kievan Rus. Alright, good morning or good afternoon. Police is everywhere, and look what I see in front of me. There is a huge protest. You can see yellow and blue flags. I have no idea what they are protesting about. This is one of the main, actually the university. It's just the Taras Shevchenko University. I'm not sure what they're demonstrating about, but I hear the Scottish music here.
Шухевич! Герої України!
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава нації!
Смерть ворога!
Україна!
Понад усе!
This is Dynamo Kyiv. What is he doing here? I love the football fans. They are in all the important events. What she said is like to honor the people who defend Ukraine. I think it's also related to the war that is ongoing right now in Donetsk, in east of Ukraine. So that's the closest. I would say it's the closest big city to Russia. It's on the east here. I'm in Kyiv, which is still in the east, but not as much as Donetsk. So there is a war ongoing there. Yeah, I see a picture that is interesting. There is the. Yeah, maybe she doesn't want to be recorded. I just spoke to some locals who understand what's going on. So okay, I think the cortege is over now. It's heading there. What they say is that today is the National Day of Ukraine. It's called the Defender Day. The people in the front of the movement, they say, because I asked her, but are they happy or unhappy? Because I see some people not happy. So how comes this is a celebration and some people are kind of angry? She said the people that are in the front of the cortege are very happy. They are celebrating their what they call the Defender Day. But the people who are in the back, they are not very happy. Yeah, and she told me like there are many associations, many organizations, like the ones that are supporting the people of Ukraine that are in the east, fighting for you know, to kind of end the war in the east of Ukraine. That's Taras Shevchenko. It's really beautiful. It's a university. So it looks, yeah, more like from the Tsar regime. And look at this ugly thing here in front of me. And then in the back you have more modern constructions. You see on the side he has a lot of speakers, and yeah, they would. That's where the music was coming from. But it's massive, this thing. Look at this. Oh, you remember my previous vlog about like the courtyards of the Ukrainian buildings? This one is by far the most beautiful I've seen. So here you recognize there is the opera of Kyiv. This is the bell tower of the St. Sophia Cathedral, which I showed in another vlog. This, I guess, is the St. Andrew Church in Podil district, and this is the monument of the founders of Kyiv, the three brothers and the sister Libid. So the first brother, they named the city after the oldest one, Kyiv, and this is the Golden Gate, of course, and maybe this is the St. Andrew Church. Not sure what is this. Kievska Miska Rada. Yeah. There is the courtyard. the Ukrainian courtyard. I'm all for renovation and taking care of history and historic building. But you see the building there, that's one, it's like a historic one. There are like government entities all around this place. Like the last time I got lost, found myself inside the energy department of Ukraine. Many buildings here belong to the Ukrainian government, and I'm all for renovation and maintaining the history of the country and the city. But then explain to me, how comes the nuclear research center of Kyiv, probably Ukraine, that is in an area that is way less glamorous and visited than here? How comes that building looks like the Nazi just bombed the city yesterday? Like if you would see some parts of the building, you say, okay, the last time they made any renovation and maintenance here is probably 100 years ago. Like the building is falling apart. I mean, I clap for the architects who built it initially, because with no maintenance like that and the building is still standing and functional, that's a miracle. So where is the money? Where is the money to maintain the nuclear research center of Ukraine? It's important, right? So we have like Ukraine has nuclear power plants, and I believe that the nuclear research center is very important for the energy independence of the country and the intellectual sovereignty and independence of Ukraine. But where is the money to maintain that single simple place where the scientists can go and work? Where is the money? Was the money allocated by the government, and when the time of execution came, the money wasn't really used for maintenance and renovation, or was the money never allocated by the government? All of these questions need to be answered. Like regardless of the scenario or the other scenarios I didn't mention, the result is still the same. It's a building where people work, where scientists, like the elite of the country, go to work, but the building looks like an abandoned place. It's a shame, it's a pity, especially for a country who want to join the NATO. I think Ukraine has bigger problems than joining the NATO today. Like there is, the NATO, sorry. I think, there are like really deeper problems about the corruption and where the money is going. I think these are the first thing the country needs to address before, like, to wish for NATO or the European Union or any other organization. And of course, like any demonstration in Kyiv, it must end here in the Independence Square, or they call it Maidan Square. See a lot of people here. Not sure if these are like the three founding siblings of Kyiv. See the three brothers. Maybe the one in the front is the oldest one, named Kyiv, after which the city was named. And the lady behind is their sister Libid. Look at the guy in the front, like he's like a lion, a dead lion. Yeah, these are like your vibes. The founding siblings of Kyiv Ukraine. So today is a national day here in Kyiv, Ukraine. I think all over Ukraine. That's why there are a lot of people around me here. Of course, going through the glass bridge and Volodymyr the Great statue. So a lot of people hang around. So of course this monument has a lot of significance, especially like today is the Defender Day. The two men, I think I explained this earlier in another video, but the two men in the middle is like about the Soviet era. One man symbolized like the Soviet Union, I think Russia, and the other one is like a Ukrainian man, and they both like celebrating the union, the kind of the emblem you see at the top that they are holding together. Your Soviet emblem, CCCP. The C stands for Soviet, the P is an R actually because it's in Cyrillic alphabet, so that's Russia, I guess. I don't know what you think, guys, but this is really beautiful. This is a famous park, and this is my favorite place. I'm gonna have my hot tea. I don't know what he puts inside, but it's a tasty. Here it is. So let's try to get closer first to the monument, to the statue, and see if we can see some inscriptions on it. Let's see if we can understand them. See crosses, we understand why, and the man standing in the middle, not sure if it's maybe him, Volodymyr the Great, and the other people, like, you know, like maybe this symbolizes the fact that he is Christianizing other people in the Kievan Rus. Here is what happens. His grandmother, Princess Olga, if you read her history, you'll be shocked. Because if you know the word revenge, we'll multiply that word by 1,000, and then you are way far from his grandmother, Princess Olga. Princess Olga's husband was killed by people that in modern day Europe should be around Poland, like the eastern part of Poland. So they killed her husband in a very, I would say, how to say, like coward way. And she became, I mean, her son was too young to rule, so she became kind of ruling on behalf of her son. So she killed that region, the people who killed her husband. She took her revenge more than once, like many times, and I'm not sure like what could have been enough to satisfy her, to the point that the stories about her anger and revenge, they became like legend. Like historians would say, okay, there is this story, but we are not sure if it's really true or not. This is his grandmother, Princess Olga. Princess Olga converted to Christianity, right? So he wasn't born yet. What happens is her son, that son that couldn't rule when he was young, and then later on he could rule, he grew up like in an environment of a lot of conflicts and a lot of murders, etc. His dad was murdered, and he became violent. That's how her son was. And her son rejected, without a doubt, anything related to Christianity, anything related to, you know, like you can't do this, you can't do that. So her son, he went like, yeah, he was really savage, and he was really good when it comes to invading other lands and killing people. So her son has 3 kids, 2 legitimate and 1 bastard. Now guess who the bastard is? Is Volodymyr the Great. He was the kid who wasn't like kinda 100% legitimate. The 2 other kids, Yaropolk and Oleg. Yaropolk ruled over Kyiv. He was Prince of Kyiv. Oleg, they gave him western part of modern day Ukraine, which was a good region, a lot of food, a lot of hunting opportunities, etc. So Volodymyr the Great, they gave him north, more like near Novgorod, which is in modern day Russia, which wasn't the best region you can get as a prince. What happens is, one of the clan of Yaropolk was hunting in the land of Oleg. Forget Volodymyr. Volodymyr had nothing to do with this. The 2 brothers in the south, Oleg and Yaropolk. So because of that conflict, that boy who was hunting, he was caught in the other land, and he was killed. He was killed by the people of Oleg. When that came, the news when it came to Yaropolk, who was Prince of Kyiv, his kind of close advisor, who was a Scandinavian from Scandinavian roots, he wasn't happy, and he encouraged him to invade his brother Oleg. He did, he won, and he killed his brother Oleg. When Volodymyr, who was ruling in the north, as I said, in the city of Novgorod, modern day Russia, when he heard that, he was afraid, and he was almost certain. What he did, he fled to Scandinavia. He had family there, relatives in Sweden. He succeeded to raise an army from Norway. That's why we say like Norwegians and Ukrainians are somehow related. In fact, Scandinavians and the Slavic people are definitely related, because what they call the Varangians are the Scandinavian people. They left their Scandinavia in the years 800, and they went to sack the beautiful city of Constantinople, modern day Istanbul. But on their way from Scandinavia to Turkey, they discovered this land, because they crossed it following the Dnieper River. Think of it. What people needed at the time was simple: water, fertile land, you know, like where they can grow their crops, their cattle. As you can see, very safe, very clean. I'm not afraid about my camera, and the view is amazing. Volodymyr raised an army from Norway. He invaded Novgorod. He defeated the guy who was in Novgorod. And when he defeated the guy who was in Novgorod, there was no reason holding him from continuing south. He continued south. He sieged the city of Kyiv, and then his brother Oleg, half-brother, came out to kind of find peace. The Varangans, the Swedes and the Norwegian didn't give him a chance. They killed him immediately, and Volodymyr became Prince of Kyiv. He ruled from 980 to even more than 1010, which is more than 30 years. And during that time he had a vision, a visionary thought. What he imagined is that he said, if I want really my kind of ruling to become really big, because Kiev has now become a state, a sovereign state, central one in Europe, in east of Europe. He imagined that if he want to have more chances, he would go and kind of belong to a religion, something like Islam, Christianity, Judaism. So he sent envoys to 4 places: the Jewish, the Muslims, and to the Catholic and the Orthodox. The envoy who came from a Christian, let's start with the Jewish state. There was a Jewish state, I don't remember its name, but it was more eastern than Ukraine. So that envoy came back and explained that they don't have really a land, something like this. And he said, I don't want to belong to a kind of community or population that does not have land. You know, they don't have like their own state, etc. So he ruled out Judaism. About the Muslims, when they told him that, first of all, the envoy that he sent was not sent to Baghdad. He was sent to the Muslims of Bulgaria, and to the best of my knowledge, and that state wasn't like the greatest among the Muslim states. Of course, if you would have sent envoys to either Baghdad or to the west, Andalusia, because Andalusia, one of the Umayyad princes fled when the Abbasid became took over the Islamic Caliphate. He fled to the west. His ancestors on his mother's side were from North Africa, from Morocco. They helped him to cross to Spain, and he founded the western Caliphate of the Umayyad. If you would have sent them either there, in modern day Andalusia in Spain, or to Baghdad, the feedback about the Muslims would have been different. So the ones who came from the Muslim Bulgarians, they were not really impressed. And when they told him that they cannot drink alcohol, I think that was the turning off point for him. So this is why I said it's the monarch of Kyiv. It's hard to continue the story of Volodymyr the Great with all the beauty of the art here, and we aren't even yet at the Andreevsky descent. This is beautiful, guys. The guy who came from the Muslim land said that they don't drink alcohol. He said, I'm not interested. And it was an envoy from not Baghdad or Andalusia in Spain. It was from the Muslims of Bulgaria. And they didn't, I would say their state didn't really picture the golden age of the Muslims at the time. So he said, no, I'm not interested to be Muslim. Then the one coming from the Catholic Christians, he just noticed that it's, like their churches are not that, like kind of big, beautiful. Maybe they sensed some sadness in the land where they went, and that was their feedback. The ones coming from Constantinople in modern day Turkey, Istanbul. They said that we lack words to describe what we saw in Constantinople. Of course, the beauty of the religious monument that they have at the time, and the city of Istanbul itself, Constantinople at the time. They said we lack the words to describe what we saw, and he was sold. But the interesting part is the following: instead of sending a Twitter. Instead of contacting the Emperor of Constantinople, sending him a tweet or an Instagram post or something like this, saying like, hey, Emperor of Constantinople, I want to convert to Orthodox Christianity. Here is how he made him know that he wants to convert to Orthodox Christianity. What he did, he went to south of Ukraine. At the time, it wasn't a city ruled by Kievan Rus. He invaded that city, and then he sent an envoy from that city and said, "It's either you marry me your daughter, or I'm gonna invade Constantinople." So the emperor at the time didn't have, I would say, the time and the energy for that. And to him, he saw it like an opportunity to Christianize another land. So he told him, yes, no worry, I'll marry you my daughter, but there are two caveats, there are two conditions. The first one is that you will help me defeat one of my generals, who is kind of causing me a lot of stress. Volodymyr the Great said yes, and actually he defeated him. The second condition, you will convert to Christianity, which Volodymyr the Great was already willing to do. So that's the story of the conversion of Volodymyr the Great to Christianity. Not only Volodymyr the Great, but all the population of the Kievan Rus, because people were asked to convert also. And if today the Slavic nations and if today the Slavic people are Christian, Orthodox Christian, it's because or thanks to the story that I just told you. And if today the Slavic people, I am talking about Ukrainians, Belarus and Russians at least, if they are today Orthodox Christian, is because of this story of Volodymyr the Great and the way he chose Christianity, etc., etc. It's very colorful, very artistic. This is the house of the ambassador of, I don't know, the UK or France, because I know it's not the US ambassador here. It's another side of the city. See the flag of Ukraine. Maybe it's a government building, but as you can see, the architecture is sharp. Some homemade warm socks. I think they are very needed. Yeah, if you go from here, I think that's where you go to the US embassy. And the streets there are very pretty. Now we're going to Podil district. You recognize it with that wheel. Someone is screaming. Oh, is it a show? Because again, today is a national day in Ukraine, so yes, there must be some entertainment. You see, there are some little dolls here, like this man sewing, this man reading, and here it's written One Street Museum. See here from the inside, looks like very real, right? Looks like a house of someone. Museum. So the history, the story of this place is it tells the story of the people who were living in this exact street. That's why they call it the One Street Museum. Yep. Now we go closer to the street where most of the action happens among the youngsters. I can already see some young people getting crazy, dancing. On these beautiful notes from this beautiful place, I tell you, thank you for watching the video and see you later. Do svidaniya.